With this, we are going live. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on your time zone. Great to have you in our SAP User Group's YouTube stream again. Today, we continue our SAP Signavio webcast series. We have started with this series last week, and we will share the schedule of the entire series with you in a moment. Today is the second session, the episode number 2, and we will talk about SAP Signavio Process Insights, have process performance measurement for breakfast. I don't think that we will eat right now, especially for breakfast, but you will receive sufficient amount of information to digest. Our speaker for today is Dr. Dirk Jandroska, who is the product manager of SAP Signavio Process Insights. Usually, he is guiding SAP customers on the fastest path to process excellence, and we will introduce him also shortly. My name is Larissa Brinkman from the SAP Global User Groups organization, and I'm your host for today. We kindly ask you to post your questions via live chat, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. The materials of this session, meaning the PDF, will be available for download in the description to the video, and we will make it available shortly after the session. With this, I ask Dirk to go to the slide with the schedule of the entire series. Please go one slide back so we can give a chance to our audience to look to all the topics that are planned for this series. And we will then move on to you, Dirk, with your topic for today.
All right, so welcome everyone. Also from my side, I'm very happy to give you today an overview about Process Insights. The title is Have Process Performance Measurement for Breakfast, because we understand that process measurement is obviously not easy for a lot of you today. And we hope we can convince you that with our product in the SAP Signavio space, we can address your issues and challenges. Well, why should you actually care about process performance measurement would be the first topic I cover in the introduction. I will spend then a lot of time demoing to demonstrate that what I claim Process Insights can do actually is possible. And at the end, we will have a Q&A session. So spare your questions, share them in the chat, as you already learned before. I hope we can all answer them. So let's get started. Why should you care about process performance measurement? Well, just a couple of examples. So if you do a process performance measurement right and you improve your processes, what you can actually do is you can increase the automation rate, for example, for the invoice processing by 43%. The never out of stock rate can go up to 96%. You can reduce your master data entries by 28%, or you can improve your material availability by 28%. Those are just some examples we have seen in our customer engagements. There are many, many more. So actually, process performance measurement should be in the interest and in the core of every company. But when we go out and ask our customers, we get a different picture. So what we do see, and this was done in a similar sessions, we ask the participants, are you doing process performance measuring? So it was maybe even a slightly biased group with more people who are actually working on it, because 39% yes, we're doing it. On the other hand side, there were 40% who said no, we are not doing it at all. And there were like 22% where they said, well, sometimes, but it's not really reoccurring. So process performance measurement is not widely spread, even though this is not a new practice. Why is it so? We also asked that question. What did we get as a response? So a lot of people said, well, we don't have the right tools to do it. Or the other answer was not enough resources to get started with it. We have a lack of expertise, so we don't have the people who can actually do it. And the other answer was, well, we're not really spending time on it because we don't see that what we find there in the analysis phase really comes to actions, so it doesn't have any effect. And there have also been a couple of people saying, okay, we have other reasons. Now, what we think is we have the right tool for you to address all those challenges. And the tool is called SAP Signavio Process Insights. So it's hopefully the right tool. It can help you with your resource challenges. It can help you with your lack of expertise. It can help you to translate the analysis into actions. And well, potentially can also help you with other topics we just don't know. So what is SAP Process Insights all about? Process Insights is a tool that is helping you to get a very fast access to your current processes, to understand them, to analyze them, and to derive actions from it. And when I say fast, I really mean fast. We have demonstrated it live on stage. There it took 14 minutes to connect Process Insights and get first data flying in. So usually what we talk about, it's same day insight. Sometimes it takes a bit of time till all data is being transferred from your ERP systems over to Process Insights, and then it's ready to get analyzed. So very fast, especially if you compare it with some other process mining projects. It helps you narrowing down your focus because we're not only showing you one piece, one small process in your company, but actually we're showing you, well, I would say all key processes. I give you more ideas about what it is that we are showing later on in the demo and afterwards. So it's a very broad focus we're having with the product, which helps you to narrow your focus because you would immediately see where you have the biggest challenges, where you see problems with your product, with your processes, and this is where you can focus on. It also helps you connecting the dots. So we're not building silos, but we have a tool that can be used by business professionals, by decision makers, by IT experts in a very intuitive way and also user-friendly way. It allows you to start exploring. And well, it doesn't stop with the exploration and with the analysis, but it helps you improving right away because we have a lot of recommendations built right into the product that you can use and improve your software, improve your processes, and finally come to a better process and more smoothly running process. So this is the idea about SAP Process Insights. To put also some more beef to the bone, I would love to show you a bit about the product itself. And for this, I have been setting up a bit of a demo scenario. I'm putting myself now into the shoes of a procurement teamo. That's someone who's working in the procurement department of a mid-market company with a global footprint. He's overlooking the processes in procurement, and he has a current challenge. And the challenge is that he's getting complaints from his suppliers that they are getting the money late. So we're seeing late payments here. So the question is now, how can teamo address those challenges using Process Insights? Let's take a look into this. So we're starting a live demo with demo data, and I show you how Process Insights work. All right, so what you're seeing here now is the entry screen of our cloud solution Process Insights. What you're seeing here, keep remember, is something that you have, well, latest 24 hours after you start connecting Process Insights to your ERP system. From there on, it will constantly take the information you have there and prepare them in a way that you can use it for analyzing your processes. Well, and what you see is that we have 61 process flows which are ready for analysis. This is what you see here, and we have 55 of them with blockers. Blockers mean there is something going on which is not good. And well, another thing you can already see on the entry screen is in the case you don't want to run an analysis, you can immediately start to take actions, because we have already identified 96 correction recommendations for you that you could use and start implementing. Some of them are in the automation space, some of them are in the transactional data space, some of them are in the master data space. So this is the bypass. If you're in a hurry, if you're not want to do a thorough analysis, it's a great idea to look here first, because here you can start improving right away. But well, Timo from procurement does have a very specific idea in his mind, and this is why he's not interested in immediate action, but first he likes to understand the problem a bit better. Well, for that, he's going to the end-to-end processes, and here you get another idea about the things that we cover. So you see the acquire to decommission process, the finance processes, idea to market, governance, lead to cash, plan to fulfill, and source to pay. So quite a big variety of processes that are covered in here. The one that's interesting for Timo is invoice to pay. Let's head over there. Now, it's a process that's subdivided into a couple of more detailed processes. We call them modular processes. And the one which is most interesting for Timo is supplier invoice issuing to FIAP clearing, because in here you find also the payment activities. Clicking on it gives you an overview about the process. What do you see here is something we call a process flow. We have here the finance area. We have the where you see the supplier invoice, and you see the area of finance where you have the accounting documents. Throughout the reference period, which you can see here, we're starting out with about 14K documents where the supplier invoice was issued, which is the start of the process. And the process finally ends then when the AP items getting cleared. And in the reference period, we see that 95% of all the documents got cleared. So still 5% are open. And if you look into this, what you see here on the right-hand side, and let me zoom in a bit. I know it's not perfect on a smaller screen. But what you see here is that it took 25 days on average. And if we look here, we see that especially this step from items being released for payment till the clearing documents are created, it takes us 20 days. Hovering over tells us some of them are very fast, 0 days, and some of them take very long, 73 days. So we already have a good overview about the process. It doesn't seem to be perfect, but it seems already being a quite okay process when it comes to the flow. Now, understanding more about this process can be very easily done in the software, because what you see here is most frequent blockers and other information. Let's show it. And what you see here is a lot of more indicators, a lot of more metrics that can help you understanding the performance of your process better. Let's look into this one. Supplier invoices created by dialog users, just picking as an example, it shows red because it requires some attention. If you see the numbers, that 97% of all supplier invoices are created by a dialog user, so manual work. This is something, as an owner of that process, I would love to look into and understand, could I do something better? Now, in the current situation, Timo is not interested in the automation of the process, and it's a finance process. He's from procurement, so it's not his main interest. And he's also not really understanding a lot about this finance process. And this is why he can be very happy that what we have implemented here is not only a reference guide, but also guided analysis. So if you click on that, what you see is a document that helps everyone who wants to do improvement activities and doesn't know how to do it, how to use the indicators we have to get started. So what are the typical issues you can now resolve using Process Insights? For this only for this process, what you see here is you have recommendations on how to improve your days payable outstanding. You have improvements on your automation rate and how to do this one. You have ideas on how to avoid early payments, late payments, identifying compliance issues, and improve use of cash discounts. Well, we are now very interested in avoiding late payments because that's the focus of Timo right now. Let's click into this one. And what you see here is a great guide that tells you now what you need to do. And it tells you, well, look into this blocker here because this is a very important metric for the process. So let's head back to the software and let's check out this particular blocker. And here we have it. FIAP items cleared after net due date. So this is what I would call late payment as not being a process expert on this particular process. Well, the expert would tell you there might be other reasons why this was cleared late, but obviously this is relevant and interesting. We have just learned it from the document. So let's look into this into more details because that we need to look into it, you see, is 24% of our documents are getting cleared after net due date, which is quite a lot. Let's look into this. And what we can see here is a comparison. Now, let's look into company code because what Timo was suspecting, it's not everywhere the same. So selecting the company code gives you an overview about the documents that have been created. You see immediately on the left-hand side where the most documents are created, and you see on the right-hand side where the number of late payments is the biggest. And let me zoom in a bit because otherwise this the print would be too small. So if we're now looking into this one, we see, no, it's not evenly distributed. We have a couple of company codes where actually the problem is way bigger than in others. And in this case, I would have A05A, which would be potentially an Austrian department. I would know if I would be in Timo's company. And I see 65% of the documents are being paid late here. So severe issues. Some other company codes are doing things better. So this could be Belgium, 16%. So great point of start of following up. I could now get started calling my colleagues in Austria and talking to them and understand why the late payments is happening there. But there's more to show. Let me go back and head over to the performance indicators, and we've seen it before also in the reference guide. What might be a root cause for late payments is that open items are blocked for payment. And when I look into the performance indicators, I see immediately 5,913 items, so quite a lot. It's worth taking a look here. And what you can see here, and what you also would see in all other situations with Process Insights, is the list of documents. So this would be all the documents, 5,000 of them, that actually have been blocked. So it might now be a good idea and a good point of time. I click the download button because then I could send over this document with all the details to my colleagues in finance and ask them to follow up and get this mess fixed. That's one idea. Well, I said before, we don't want to leave you alone in your with your process analysis, and we want to help you further to get also things fixed and getting things improved. And this is why we implemented the recommendations. And you see here on the top, we have innovation recommendations, but we also do have correction recommendations. So innovation recommendations would be things where you can be using new functionality, new products, and fix things more on the midterm. Correction recommendations is for short-term fixes. And this is exactly what Timo is being looking for and what he's after, because that would now help him fixing his problem. And what we do get for this very specific item are free correction recommendations, which are only triggered because we're having and seeing the issues. There might be more in the product, but you wouldn't see them. And well, I would be interested in those having the biggest impact. So let's sort for impact. And what's coming out on top of this is actually this one, which tells us the finding. So more than 30% of our open items, invoices blocked for payment, for payment are blocked for invoice verification. So we have identified a root cause, which is in the invoice verification area. So how can we work on this one? And there's a recommendation, and this is check if a web report can be scheduled regularly to automatically release invoices blocked for obsolete reasons. So something which can help us addressing the issue at the root cause. Let me click on this one. You see all the documents. It's 2,718, which can be fixed. So half of our documents can be fixed by actually looking into this this activity. And what do I need to do? I click on show recommendations, and it does tell me now what we need to do is scheduling a background report for ABAP, and you have the report name here. That will actually fix the problem, and I will not see this coming up again, that actually invoices for ops that are that blocking invoices for obsolete reasons my payout to the suppliers, which is great because then Timo has one less thing to worry about. Obviously, he might not be the right person to implement it, but he can now call up his IT department and ask for support and help exactly on this topic. So that's the idea on process insights. And this is only a small glimpse into what you can achieve. Just think about us now looking into this system for the very first time. It has not taken us really a lot more than 15 minutes, and we were already being able to identify a root cause. Well, situation can be also more complex. There might be good reasons why we are paying late, because we want to optimize our cash flow and we don't really care too much about the suppliers. There could be great follow-up analysis you could do. So I would be now personally interested, how would the situation be different for situations where we get a discount when we would pay an invoice in time versus things where we don't pay where we don't get a discount. I hope for everything where we get a discount, we pay in time and get the discount. Can be the case, can't be the case. So all of this would be great follow-up analysis. We would have the right metrics in place. We would have the right filtering conditions in place, because you might only be interested in one company code. Or you might be interested only in one document type. You can filter for this. You will always be able to drill down to the single document level. In case someone is not believing the numbers, you can prove it that this is the situation, and it helps you to step by step improve your processes by first creating transparency and then taking the actions. So this is process insights in the demo. Let me head back to the presentation, because I would like to do a bit of a wrap up here of what we have just seen in the demo. Remember, this is where we started, and my claim was that process insights can address all these topics. Let's go step by step, one by one. So right now, customers not having the right tool. My claim is with the holistic overview of process insights, with their ease to use, It really can help for business experts, IT professionals, and others in your company to start analyzing the process performance and take actions. Not enough resources. So you don't need any special resources for this one, so no data scientist needed. It helps you to do fast analysis and get fast results. It's not a month-long project that you need to run to get process insights up and running. It's not a month-long project to get your first process flow. No, instead you get everything in a very short time frame. The next question is about lack of expertise. So how do we address that? It's with predefined content. I hope it got clear. Otherwise, let me just repeat it. Everything you said is based on predefined content. So the only reason why we can provide all of those insights already within a day is because we had process experts working on this one, having their decades of experience put into our product. And now this is available for you at your fingertip to start analyzing. The same is true for the guided analyzer. Remember, Timo didn't know where to look and how to get started. We have a document that exactly helps him understanding what are the steps he needs to perform in the product, which is the things he needs to look into, and guiding him based on his business problem to the right analysis, and finally actions. And actions was the last concern that we have captured. So we see that correction and innovation recommendations are in the product that helps you to address your challenges, not getting stuck with the analysis, but actually taking those topics you have identified and start improving on them. So that was my claim on what Process Insights can do. Let's look into what do you get when you use Process Insights. Massive amount of content. That's the very first statement. So we have seen already around 60 process flows already, numbers growing. This makes up to 2,400 detailed metrics, 150 correction recommendations, and 730 innovation recommendations. All of them, they are spread across 8 lines of businesses, and we've ordered them in 7 process flows. Those numbers are the numbers from today, but they keep growing. So Process Insights is still a quite young product, about 1 year in the market. In this time frame, we have more than tripled already the content, and we keep doing this. And it's not only adding content for the reason of adding content. No, what we have is this condensed consulting experience, this condensed product experience that we in SAP have. And we have still a lot that we want to integrate in the product in our backlog that's just sitting there and waiting for the time and the resources to get integrated. And we exactly do this to help you out. So this was the content side. And if you now wonder what are the specific scenarios, how you can get started and use Process Insights, there are very different scenarios where Process Insights can be of help. First of all, for everyone who's interested in incremental improvements in its existing process setup with its existing ERP system, Process Insights can actually help you to exactly do this. You can look into it in a regular basis, understand how your performance of your processes has changed, and what you could do to start improving. It can also help you when you're planning to move to S/4HANA, because here it can help you to preparing this step towards S/4HANA. Think about, for example, master data issues that you might have in the system. Cleaning up before you move is most of the time a very good idea. Process Insights can help you identifying them. It can help you identify variants that you don't really use in your processes, so you don't need to consider them for your migration. And it can also help you to really focus on, for example, document types that are used, because this is all the analysis you can get on top out of Process Insights next to all the process performance indicators. So for some people who has already moved to S/4HANA, it might also be a good idea to do process insights still afterwards, because there you can also identify all those issues that is maybe holding you back from getting the perfect value out of your product, because process insights can help you identifying them, maybe showing you in the innovation space, new functionality that S/4HANA is offering. And here you could then potentially use this functionality to further improve your processes. All right, so those were the scenarios. Now the question is, how do you get started with process insights? And we have a great offering for you. It's called the Process Discovery Report. It's not the full product, but it can give you some understanding how process analysis and how process analysis and performance measurement can help you with your company. The good part about that one, it is free. So if you would be interested, just scan the QR code or later on follow the links that we will be sharing. And what you will get is there an instant insights into your core business processes. So just a little bit of the scope that we have in process insights. It helps you also there already to identify focus areas. And we have already implemented a couple of correction innovation recommendations there so that you get an idea of what you can be doing. Great starting point also to convince someone in your company who might still have a lot of questions, but first of all, for yourself to see what process performance measurement can be doing in case you haven't started with it. So that is my ask for actions to you. If you've looked into it in Process Insights, I would have also one more recommendation for you. This is, don't stop with Process Insights, because SAP Signavio does have another great product, and this is Process Intelligence. Process Intelligence is the other process analysis and mining product that we have in our scope. And while Process Insights clearly excels on providing standard content and providing standard data and standard processes for you, with Process Intelligence, you can start customizing everything you want. You can include the systems that you want in your analysis and start using it to clearly go where you might want to deep dive into. Process Insights have provided you the overview, and you might want to take deep dive into certain process areas. And this is where Process Intelligence can help you. Now, having said that, there would be another session on process intelligence. You have seen it in the beginning, which will be happening on April 27. And I would also like to remind you, there will be a very hands-on session on process insights, which will be taking place on April 4th. So this is the next two sessions that are coming up in this series. In the hands-on session, you would see all the technical steps you need to do to get process insights up and running. Having said that, I'm coming now to the end of my presentation. I would be now very, very interested in the questions you might have on our product and the presentation.
Thank you, Dirk. Thank you very much for your presentation with a lot of insights and great, great path forward for those who are starting with the product. And I can only encourage our audience to bring up questions in the chat. And while we are waiting for questions to come in, we received several questions as we were preparing for this session. And for example, the question that often comes up is, you have or SAP has two analysis products in SAP Signavio portfolio. What is actually the difference between process insights and process intelligence?
Thanks for that question. I hope you don't hear background noise. Can you just let me know if that is the case? Then I just need to stop it.
All good, Dirk. We
Good.
can't hear any background noise on your side.
Okay, just let me know if this is happening. I have a bit of a situation here, but let me answer your question. So it's obviously a very frequent question, having two products doing somehow similar things. I would always tell there is a need for both products. The one step everyone wants to know or wants to do is getting a broad overview about the process performance with Process Insights, because it's very fast, it's very easy to get started with. But it is also limited in the way how you would be able to go to your very specific needs that you have with your processes. And here process intelligence comes into the game, which is offering you full process mining capabilities. And for everyone who knows a bit about that one, they also know it takes a little bit more time and a little bit more effort to get started. Now, the great thing about having this in a combination is you would only need to invest those effort in areas where you already know and seen the confirmation that actually it's worth it, because you know there are challenges. And you could, for example, use it to connect other non-SAP systems and also additional SAP systems that Process Insights does not cover. And here Process Intelligence can be a great addition. So the two products work very good hand in hand for your situation.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Again, to the audience, please feel free to bring up your questions in the chat. There is a chance now, as we have Dirk as an ultimate expert, open for this Q&A. And while we are waiting for questions to come, I have one more question that also actually was brought up in several conversations. It is about customized systems. So can I actually use this Process Insights also for the ERP systems that were customized on, on customer side?
Mm-hmm. Yes, good question. So obviously, this is a question immediately raised. I said standard content quite a couple of times. Standard content is hitting a non-standard system, because you might have spent quite a number of years in customizing the system to your needs, how this is now working out. What I can assure you is when we developed in the past years all those indicators and process flows, we have done this together with our customers most of the time, also with the biggest customers that have the most customized systems that you could imagine. So all of this is developed for situations where the system is actually being customized. And as you've seen before, we're looking into the process flows on a high level to give you a great overview. And this is, from our experience, working also very nicely with customized systems. And there you get also meaningful results out of your analysis.
So excellent. These are already good news, because most probably a lot of systems are customized. So, but that's great that we have this option of using a Process Insights. Well, I can't see questions in the chat. I would definitely add the schedule of all the upcoming sessions in the description to this video. The PDF of the session today of Dirk's presentation will be also available for download shortly after we close the session. So for those who will be listening to the replay, all the information, all the links to the additional information will be available. And if you have questions, feel free to post them under the video or to reach out to the contacts that will be mentioned in the PDF. With this, again, thank you to the audience. Thank you to those who have listened to us and to those who will be watching the replay. And thank you, Dirk, for your presentation and for answering the questions. And for everybody, stay tuned. On 4th of April, there will be the next session out of SAP Signavio webcast series. With this, thank you very much and bye-bye.